Hello and welcome to all of our AusCycling YouTube viewers. Welcome to session 3, day number 2 of the 2026 AusCycling Track National Championships. We're going straight to the line now for our first event of the day. Our first event of the day is our men's para AWII pursuit qualifying. We welcome in the home straight from Victoria, this is Harry Metzger, and in the back straight from Queensland, we welcome Ollie Hutchinson. First and second will go to the gold final. Third will be awarded to the bronze. Underway now for Harry and Ollie. 16 laps of the track, looking to do the absolute fastest times they can here. Get themselves up into the gold medal right off, or take home a bronze medal. That's what's on offer for our AWII para men. Harry Metzger and Ollie have already stood on the podium with a silver and bronze medal in their competitions so far yesterday. So it's quite a warm afternoon, starting to build up into quite a warm afternoon on the track centre here at the Meares Velodrome. For those of you who are joining us around Australia or in other countries of the world, welcome. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's racing. A lot of individual pursuits and time trials to take place here on this session. The riders moving nicely around the track as they head back to their starting points through the first 1,000 metres. Harry Metzger 1:22. Ollie just a little bit off the pace with him at the moment, 1:26.18. We've got the individual pursuit qualifying for our para athletes as our first event on today. Then we move on to the junior men's individual pursuit qualifying. 10 heats in all, so a great field of individual pursuiters. And then we have the elite men time trial. And we've got 9 heats in the elite men's time trial, with the fastest 8 will go to the final later today. Our elite women's individual pursuit qualifying as well, before we move on to our individual pursuit finals for our para riders. And then that will take care of our morning session, as we see Harry just starting to come up behind the back of Ollie Hutchinson as they head down the back straight. Ollie will continue to set a time here to see if he can get himself up into the final later. Otherwise, it will be a bronze medal for him in this competition. Harry Metzger moving very nicely around the track at the moment. And then this evening, we have a 6 o'clock start on the east coast of Australia. For those watching, make a difference in your times if you're joining us in other states. We've got the junior men team sprint, the elite women's team sprint, the junior women's points race, all happening tonight, along with the finals of our junior men individual pursuit, elite women's individual pursuit, and our men's time trial. So a great night of racing ahead. Long contest, this one starting on Tuesday and will end on Sunday, and during the weekend starting on Saturday we will also have our under 17 and under 15 athletes on the track, and they will continue on until April Fool's Day, Wednesday next week. So plenty to see, plenty of racing. So please make sure you join us, and if you are watching on our live feed, please share it. Share it to anyone that you can think of who would like to be here, who may not have seen it, may not have seen a cousin or a grandson or granddaughter race, or just friends of the family, be able to see them race in real time during the national championships. Harry Metzger moving down the back straight, nice and smooth here. He's going to come into the home straight this time with 5 laps to go of his 4,000 metres. It's a tough contest at the best of times, the individual pursuit. A little bit warm out on track. And you think of the riders, they're warming up all the time, trying to keep enough fluids in them to be able to not dehydrate and so forth. And then they warm down after the ride, try and get as much of the lactic acid out of their bodies as they possibly can. And if they're going to ride the finals later, they start the process again after a few hours rest. We saw some great individual pursuing last night. Megan Moore winning the junior women's 19 pursuit, the Queenslander. And of course, Connor Lay winning his 6th individual elite pursuit championship and taking the national record down to 4 minutes and 4 seconds. So it was a great night of individual pursuing. Of course, once again showing that the Meares Velodrome is a very, very quick track and all. 4:23 through the 3,000 for Ollie Hutchinson as he comes through, but he's got his opponent Harry Metzger coming up this time to receive 2 laps to go, and is locked into a good performance here, the Victorian. He heads down underneath the scoreboard and into the back straight now. He's going to get Ollie Hutchinson in his line of sight again and try and get out and after him once more. Ollie on the stock standard bike, dropped handlebars, no aero position just at this stage for him. Metzger gets the bell and finish off this time as he heads down the back straight, trying to reel in his opponent, and he's lifting the pace as he heads towards him. So Harry Metzger doing a good ride here to set the fastest time he possibly can. Comes into the home straight this time. He's going to stop the clock with 5:18.852. Ollie Hutchinson goes through. He's going to receive his laps to go as he goes down the back straight at this time. Harry Metzger just needs to stay up and out the way of Ollie. They come round into the home straight. Ollie's just going up round the outside. Ollie Hutchinson, the Queenslander, moving nicely. Heads towards the back straight at this time to finish off his ride. And he'll go through in 5:53.669 as our first qualifying ride completed here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to heat number 2 in our para pursuit qualifying. We welcome in the back straight Hamilton Wheelers colours, this is Parawi Judd, and in the home straight representing Queensland, this is Keely Kitkovics. Keely Kitkovics had a nice win yesterday in the sprints, and Parawi Judd also took home a national champions jersey in his MXP division. So good racing from our para athletes as always on the first day of competition. Don't expect to see anything different today. Always a good contest as they set out now to try and Kitkovics will be out to get himself up into the gold medal ride, and Parawi Judd is out there to do the absolute fastest time he can do as they travel around the track now. Kitkovics moving nicely. Kili Kitkovic's really moving nicely out on the track here. These two riders on the track at the same time, slightly different classifications though. This is why Perry Judd looking to take another national jersey in this week of racing, and Kili Kitkevic's looking to get himself in the top spot for qualification. At the moment, if he goes top spot, which he more than likely will with the pace that he's setting, he'll meet Harry Metzger in the final later today, a little bit later this afternoon. Big day of individual pursuing for our junior men and our elite women. We're going to see some fantastic riding still to come throughout this week. And of course the elite men's time trial championship in a great sized field this year for the 1,000 metre time trial qualifying. Really looking forward to see if anyone can get under that magical 1 minute mark here. We've got the talented riders here to be able to do it, whether the conditions suit that. We're really expecting to see some super fast times as Kitkovic comes round again and reels in Perry Judd. Perry Judd doing a nice ride, smooth at the bottom of the track. Stock standard bike for Perry. He moves down the back straight. Kili Kitkovic's into the home straight. Very smooth indeed, no trouble whatsoever. Coach Jordan Kirby on the track centre, one of the hardest working coaches. Seeing some of the steps that Jordan would have had to put up with yesterday, going from side to side on the track, calling different riders all day long and all into the evening. Kitkovic's just adjusting himself in the saddle, just trying to stay a little bit more comfortable as he heads down the back straight. And coming to the home straight this time. Perry Judd's going to see 6 to go. Kitkovic is going to see 1,000 metres to go, and he's gone through the first 3,000 metres in 3:35.615. Nice pace here from Kili. See how close he can get to around that 3:40 mark here. Short 42s possibly, the way he is moving at the moment. Kitkovic once again just coming into the home straight this time. He's going to receive the bell. He'll see Perry Judd once more. Two different classifications. No lowering the colours here for Perry by Kitkovic. And Kitkovic really motoring now down the back straight. Half a lap to go. He's going to be sitting around the 45, 46 mark by the looks of it as he comes into the home straight this time. They come through, stop the clock. 47.729 in the end for Kili as Perry heads towards the back straight. He's going to find himself with 2 more laps to go. Perry Judd, he's riding himself into a national champions jersey though, which is fantastic to see that the work being done in our para categories is bringing more and more riders into the competition. Kitkovic just stays up out the way of Perry. It's hard work for these riders. Now he can drop down the track and get out the way. That's no trouble. Well done to Jordan Kirby, the coach. He saw what was about to happen and it was avoided. Last lap now for Perry Judd. Get behind Perry as he comes in the home straight, ladies and gentlemen. He's putting on a tough performance here in the para qualification. Stock standard bike heads towards the back straight this time. And Perry finishes off 5:43.368, the third quickest time out on track here for himself today. So we stick with individual pursuing, but we move on now to our next event, event 36 on our program for the week. This is our men's under 19 individual pursuit qualifying. We've got 10 heats in all. giving us 21 riders, only one rider in the first heat. We welcome into the home straight from Tasmania. This is Angus Gulick. The Tasmanian Gulick away. The toughest job in cycling, being the first one out on track in the individual pursuit qualifying. Gives everybody else an idea of just how quickly the track is operating on the day in the individual pursuit. Nevertheless, all these riders will be going out to do the absolute personal best, fastest time they can, because in the old days you could sort of judge your effort, maybe just slip into the top two positions, just hold back a little bit for the final if you could, if you knew what your times were, but they're so close to the top of the leaderboard these days, these young riders, you really can't hold back at all. You couldn't really hold back at all in the individual pursuit for the elite men yesterday. The top 3 times in qualifying, all around the 4:09 mark, which was Oliver Bledden, Connor Lay and Liam Walsh. And then in the final, it was Oliver Bledden and Connor Lay, and Connor Lay suddenly found an extra 5 seconds in the final. Caught Oliver Bledden and rode 4:04 to take the national record back off James Moriarty, who was not racing with us this week through injury. So Gulick goes through the first 1,000 metres in a 1:12. It's a nice start from him. Trying to look at going through in 1:08, 1:07 pace for the next couple of 1,000 metre marks for this rider. See where he is when he comes up to the halfway point, which is a few laps away from us at the moment as he comes into the home straight. This is the halfway point. We want to see where he is going through at 4 laps to go. Goes through 1:46 at the moment, so moving nicely. Good position on the bike. Of course, the junior riders already with a points race in the legs from last night, so it's a big, tough competition. It's a tough start to the week for our junior men. Starting off with a points race and then straight into the individual pursuit today. Such a big week of racing to come for these riders. He'll come up with 1,000 metres to go this time. We'll have a look and see how he's travelling. 2:21, so he's gone through in about a 1:09 pace for his second 1,000 metres. See if he can get himself and lift over this last 4 laps and see if he can get himself inside the 3:30 mark. Angus will come round into the home straight this time. 1 lap to go, 3:16 at this point, probably sitting on around about a 32-33 as he heads down the back straight. Just wants to try and fight home over this last part of the journey here, Gulick. See how he lines up into the home straight. Just going to drop off the pace ever so slightly as he comes up. Goes across in the 3:34.656 for the first time to be set here in the junior men's 19 individual pursuit. Move on now to heat number 2. We welcome in the back straight from Victoria, Benjamin Lucia. And in the home straight from Western Australia, we welcome Patrick Shupkowski. Away nicely in this heat number 2, Victoria versus Western Australia. And Lucia seems to be away in a quicker start here and into position nicely. Very rapid start here from the Victorian. Shupkowski got himself up into 4th place last night in the points race. So he had a good first day of competition. Look at the pace from the Victorian here. Really moving, gone through the first 500 metres, 36.297. Really motoring here. See how he travels through the second 2,000 metres. And at the moment, looking $1 million, the Victorian, as he heads down the back straight. Shupkowski in a little bit of strife here at the moment for the Victorian because he's got him in his sights. Can he keep going at that pace, or is he going to settle in? We'll have a look at where his 1,000 metre time is as he goes across the line. 1:06.583 for Benjamin. Is this a too fast a start, or are we seeing one of the new talents of pursuiting here in individual pursuiting in Australia? Because he is moving beautifully at the moment, is Benjamin. And coming to the home straight this time. 7 laps to go for Pat Shupkowski. And the Victorian Lucia is just coming up to the back wheel, and he's going to go round him here. Just on halfway through the event. And Lucia has caught Shupkowski, and he's still moving nicely. He heads down the back straight this time with 5 laps to go. Lucia down the back straight, 2:08.919. So he has not slowed down at all here. He's gone through his second 1,000 metres in about a 1:02 kilometre. I've just been told that he's transitioned from a downhill mountain biker. I'll tell you what, he's got some pace. 2:08 through the first 2,000 metres. Yet behind this young Victorian, we are seeing something special here today. No two ways about it. Can he hang on to this pace through the last 1,000 metres? That's the question. Because at the moment he is moving very nicely. He doesn't seem to have slowed down too much at all. Really moving well. Lap and a half to go. Bell lap that time for Lucia as he comes into the home straight. Half a lap left for him to run. Have a look at the time, see where he's sitting at. Half a lap to go. He was still on 3:06. He comes through, stops the clock. 3:14.885. Nice piece of riding there from the Victorian. Very handy ride indeed. Shupkowski comes to 3:31.507 for Pat Shupkowski. We move on now to heat number 3 in our Junior Men 19 individual pursuit. We welcome in the back straight. We welcome George Tucker from Queensland, and in the home straight we welcome from Victoria, Max Nussbaum. So both riders away now. Nice smooth starts from both. And both riders had a very tough points race last night. There was a lot of attacks, a lot of flurry towards the end. Max Nussbaum, been unlucky not to stand on the podium. The way he was riding, it was superb. Now what can they do here? 3:14 is the marker to go off to start this bike race. And of course, the national record 3:08, so 3:04.161 by Will Holmes. The championship record 3:08.181. So some room to move here, but 3:14 is a very quick way to start the day from heat number 2 from the Victorian Lucia. So we'll see where Max Nussbaum is. One of the more established riders in the 19 ranks. He goes through the first 1,000 metres in 1:09, so some 3 seconds behind the time of Lucia. However, Lucia went 1:06 for his first 1,000, went 1:02 for his second, and then went to 1:06 for his third. So he fell off the pace that he was setting himself in that first ride. 1:09 is more about the sort of time we seem to expect from these guys. Unless, of course, you're going for the national record, and then it's around the 1:05 pace, which is what Will Holmes would have done when he set that time. Nussbaum moving nicely, though. It's going to show him as second quickest on the board, possibly for some time, because of the speed that we saw from Ben Lucia as he comes through this time. 5 laps to go. Moving nicely at the moment, Max Nussbaum. He's got George Tucker in his sights as he heads down the back straight. So that's exactly what you want to see when you're doing an individual pursuit. Get your rider in sight and try and start riding towards him. We come up to 2,000 metres. 2:13.367 here for Max Nussbaum. So he's gone through in about a 1:04 pace. If he can hang on to that pace, he's on a nice ride here, Max Nussbaum. He comes around now with 3 to go. He's just slowly getting to the back of George Tucker. Very good scratch race rider. Look at the way he times his catch here, up round the outside, down the home straight, down the back straight rather, but in the straight rather than the bend. Good piece of riding here from Nussbaum, he goes through now with 2 laps to go. Still looking around the 17-18 mark here for Max, as long as he really hangs on to the pace and lifts over the last part of the journey. He's going to come in this time to get 1 lap to go. Moving nicely, the young man from Victoria. 16:17 is where the time is looking at the moment for Max as he heads down the back straight. Still buries the head. High 17, low 18 possibly as he comes up. Has he been on a sprint home to finish off? Yes, he has. 3:17.211 for Max Nussbaum. Puts him up into second place for now. We'll have a look to see where George Tucker finishes off inside the 30. 3:28 thereabouts. The clock didn't stop, but around 3:28 for George Tucker. 3:29.599 is the adjusted. So then Lucia still 3:14 at the top. Wait for an adjusted time there because a little bit of a difference on the scoreboard. But I had Nussbaum go across in 3:17. So we'll wait for the adjusted times, or corrected time should I say, as we move on to our next heat coming out onto the track. And it looks like we have a scratching here by the looks of it, because we don't have anyone coming to the home straight at the moment. But we do have from Western Australia in the back straight, we welcome rider 122, Cooper Dunlop. But we are missing the home straight rider, number 92, Felix Crossman. So just the one rider by the looks of things to go in this heat number 4. So Cooper Dunlop away in the back straight here, the young West Australian, first year under 19. He was the under 17 sprint champion of Australia. He's the reigning champion at the moment. He won that last year here on the Meares Velodrome. And I do know a little bit about this rider, so I'll just fill you in. He is the prime example of why the AusCycling Race All licence that we now are able to use for our racing is a prime example of taking full advantage of not having the 3 licence system, because this young man comes from BMX and downhill mountain biking. He finishes he makes the final in the state for BMX when he races in his age groups, and he makes the final at national level as well in the national series and at national championships, so top 8 in the country. Superb rider on the downhills as well, rides the road. He's actually already been over to the road this summer in Europe with his European team that he'll be riding for the remainder of this year. He's flown home to take part in the state track championships, won everything, and now here he is at the nationals, and also rides gravel as well. So he's one of these riders that literally is taking full advantage of the opportunities and rides every single discipline available to him. However, he's making a real commitment to road and track this year. So great to see one of those riders that you'll see him on his mountain bike or his BMX bike in between sprint sessions on the track, just popping wheelies as his recovery ride. So very good bike handler as well. Rode the points race last night, was about 40 metres off the back of the bunch at one point to take the lap. If he'd taken the lap, he would have put himself up into a podium position around the halfway mark. Just missed out as the bunch accelerated. But being a first year, better for the experience. Moving nicely, nice position on the bike as he heads down the back straight. Goes through the 2000 in 2:13.497, so he's there and thereabouts of the time of Max Nussbaum through that same period of time. Max Nussbaum was really quick though, really solid over the last 1,000 metres to get himself up into a 3:17 position. Let's see if Dunlop can get himself inside that 3:20 area, which is something he'd be aiming for. Moving nicely. 2.5 laps to go for the young West Aussie. Heads to the back straight this time. You'll see 500 metres left to go, just 2 laps of the track. Sitting around the 17-18 sort of mark at the moment, as long as he can hang on to this pace for the next lap and a half. Still moving nicely. Nice and smooth on the bike. A little bit of rocking of the shoulders and the head, but that's from the effort, and he's not slowing down at all. 1 lap to go now. Can he lift? He's just starting to fall off the pace ever so slightly. Trying to get himself inside that 3:20 marker. Going through, a lot of work to do. Just got to fight through this last little part of the journey here. Can he get inside 3:20? Stops the clock. 3:19.965. Be happy with that. And a nice ride there from Cooper Dunlop. So we move on now to heat number 5 in our men's under 19 individual pursuit qualifying. And we seem to have another scratching from the back straight this time. Kiri Mutri is not taking to the line. So heat number 5 will just have the South Australian rider in the home straight. Please welcome Benjamin Cade. Ben Cade away now, nice smooth start. His coach on the track centre, Brett Aitken, looking after the South Australian riders for a number of years now. A great asset to the South Australian cycling community. We'll see where Ben Cade can position himself into this one. We've got Benjamin Lucia, top of the leaderboard, 3:14.885. Max Nussbaum, 3:17.21, and then Cooper Dunlop 3:19. So 3 riders inside that 3:20 marker. Been needing to get down around the 3:10, 3:11, 3:12 area, down where Benjamin Lucia was going to be interesting to see whether Benjamin's time, Ben Lucia that is, whether it's going to get him up into the top 4 placings, because that's what they need to do. 3 and 4 will race for bronze, 1 and 2 will race for gold and silver later this evening. As Cade comes through his first 1,000 metres, 1:10.439. Halfway mark this time for Cade as he comes through. Travelling at around the 4th fastest time at the moment. So we'll see if he can lift over this second half of the race or whether he's absolutely on his limit. He's moving nicely. Coach calling to him, not asking any more of him, just giving him the information that he needs. Knows that his charge is really trying his absolute finest. 4.5 laps to go. Cade will come through this time into the home straight with 1,000 metres left to run for him. We have a look at the time. It's close enough, there and thereabouts. It's up around that sort of 4:20, 4:21 pace at the moment. If he can lift home and try and get himself inside the 4:20 marker over this last part. It's a big ask though. It's very warm in here. It's rolling through in about the 1:6, 1:7 pace. Inside, 2 laps to go now for Ben as he heads down the back straight. 1.5 laps to go. Still moving nicely. Try and lift over the last part of the journey. He's sort of starting to hover around 23, 24 pace for Ben Cade as he heads down the back straight. He's got himself up into 3rd place though, it's telling us. 1/2 lap to go now. 22, 23 on the cards. Let's see how he hangs on to it as he comes into the home straight. At this time, he'll come down, stop the clock. 22.342 for Ben Cade. We move on now to heat number 6, and we welcome in the back straight from Queensland, Oscar Schoff, and in the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Alec Guglielmucci. Underway now, South Australia versus Queensland in this one. A couple of our more established names in the under-19 ranks now, getting themselves away. Schoff had a great finish to the points race last night, got himself up into the silver medal position. Guglielmucci had a great race. I think he had a bit of a touchdown though. That was the only issue towards the end. When it started to get very difficult. This is a clip of the wheels. He's up on the track, no problem whatsoever. His coach, Rowan White, calling proceedings to him. In the home straight, former World Teams Pursuit champion back in 2017. So great to see the talent that we still have in our coaching ranks here in Australia as part of our institute teams. And moving nicely to these two riders. We'll see as they go back to the first 1,000 metres and see how they're travelling over the first part of the journey. 108, 109, so moving well. I haven't seen anyone start as quick as Ben Lucia did in his ride. He went through in 1:06 for his first 1,000 metres. Possibly a little bit quick. He suffered for it over the last 1,000 metres of his ride. However, new to track cycling, finding out. Quickest way to find out is go as hard as you possibly can, and he still sits atop of the leaderboard for now. The South Australian comes into the home straight this time. He's got that almost a second's lead over the top of Oscar. Both riders look very good on the bike, good aerodynamic positions, a lot of time and effort going into positioning and aerodynamic positioning in all categories nowadays when we have the aero tri-bars set up. 4.5 laps to go. Schoff towards Guglielmucci. Alec is on the second quickest time of the day as he goes through 2:13 at the moment. So the time of Lucia is just out of reach at the moment. But can he go inside the time of Max Nuspan, who's gone 3:17, 2:11. Moving nicely as he goes through with 3 laps to go. Just on the third fastest at the moment, so just falling off the pace ever so slightly. .500 metres left of the track for Alec. He's up into second place, rolling through the track at the moment. Schoff is coming back nicely as well. Really trying to lift over this last lap and a half, 2 laps here, Oscar, and he's doing beautifully, the Queenslander. Really starting to sprint home. It's very Queensland-like. I haven't met a Queenslander yet who can't sprint for the line in this situation. He's going nicely, coming back on the South Australian. Alex still up into the top 2 times. We have a look at the time. Can he get himself up into second spot? Just outside, they go across. Schoff has lifted himself into third. Nothing between the two. 19.53 for Schoff, 19.539 for Guglielmucci. So good ride there for Schoff. He'll take the win in the heat and move himself up into third place. Another couple of riders inside that 3:20 marker. Move on to our next heat, and in the back straight we welcome from Queensland Lachlan Walters, and in the home straight representing South Australia we welcome Jack Sloan. Away now in heat number 7, Lachie Walters from Queensland against Jack Sloan from South Australia. 3:14 is the time to beat at the moment to get on top of the leaderboard, 3:14.885. Still got 3 heats to follow after this. Still a very good field of riders to move. We'll see how we go with the times. 1:06 has been the fastest first 1,000 metres that we've seen so far. These two are moving nicely. They'll come up to their respective starting points in another lap's time. It's Jack Sloan, Lachie Walters, 3rd and 4th fastest on the track at the moment according to our scoring. I'll go through this time. Sloan moving a little bit quicker now as he comes into the home straight. We'll see where the first 1,000 metres is. Goes through, short 1:08, longer 1:08 for Walters. So they're there and thereabouts of what we've seen so far from the rest, the best of the rest. That's Max Nussbaum, 3:17. He's number 2 at the moment. Then Schoff, Guglielmucci and Dunlop all went through in 3:19s. Nothing between those riders. And Ben Lucia, he's gone through 3:14.885 and sits top of the leaderboard for now. Sloan up to 2,000 metres, go through 2:10, moving nicely here. A little bit closer to the time of Lucia, the way he was riding. So let's see what Jack Sloan can do over this last 1,000 metres. Can he get himself really moving? He's been asked for a little bit more here. He's been asked for a lot more from the coach, Brett Aitken there, really trying to G him up because he knows he's on a good ride here. Moving nicely as he goes through. 2 laps to go. Still the second quickest out on track according to our scoring. Lachie Walters though, he's starting to sprint home again. We're seeing it once again. The Queenslander has brought himself back. Lachie Walters has gone to the quickest time at the moment, and he is coming down close to that 10:11 mark here for Walters. Maybe around the 12:13. Can Walters finish off here and get? Yes, he can. He's going to stop the clock. 13:19, 14:03, 1 and 2 for Walters and Sloan. The Queenslander really rapid over that last couple of laps. Lifted and sprinted for home. Both riders sitting around 2.3, 2.3 the whole way and now lifting to getting to 1 and 2 on the scoreboard. Great piece of riding, great coaching, and they go to number 1 and number 2 on the leaderboard for now. We move on to heat number 8 now. We welcome in the back straight. This is Zachary Douglas Savage. In the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Will Brown. Away now in heat number 8. And Zach Douglas Savage, winner of the points race last night, really rode well. Will Brown started off in the points race beautifully, won the first 2 sprints by a country mile compared to everyone else. Just fell off the pace a little bit throughout that race. It was a chaotic race, a lot of laps being taken throughout the evening. Douglas Savage really put himself into a winning position early in the race and just got better and better as the race went on. So we'll see who's woken up with the freshest legs. At the moment, it's Will Brown. It's Douglas Savage, no surprise from what we've seen of a majority of the Queensland riders so far, starting off in a controlled manner and really sprinting home over this 3,000 metre journey. Will Brown, he's got himself up into the second quickest spot at the moment. We'll see how he is through the first 1,000, 108, 197. So both riders through in 108. So they're well and truly putting themselves in that mix of trying to get closer and closer to that 410 mark, 413, 199. Lockie Walters is our fastest for now. Everyone just trying to get up into those top 2 spots. The top 4 spots will race for a medal. Top 2 will race for the gold and silver. Brown into the home straight, still leads the way in this race over the top of the Queenslander, but it's not even a flick of the fingers anymore as they come through. 2 and 4 on the track, according to our scoring. They come through, receive 5 laps to go now. And Will Brown just getting that little bit stronger as this ride goes on. Douglas Savage with some work to do over the last 1,000 metres. They go through 2,000 metres, 2:09 and 2:11 here. So good riding here from Will Brown. He's putting himself in a good position to try and challenge that top spot time. He'll come into the home straight, this time with 3 to go, the South Australian. Really moving nicely. Can he sprint home? Can he get himself inside that 3:13 time of Lockie Walters? He's trying, he's certainly not slowing down at all. Will Brown will come through into the home straight this time and receive 2 laps to go. Still moving very nicely indeed. How close can he get to Lockie Walters here? He's going to come up this time and receive bell lap, the South Australian. And look to the scoreboard, he's inside 3 minutes, really motoring nicely. He's there and thereabouts for a 3:13 pace. How close can he get to it? Can he better it at half a lap to go? Really trying to bring it home. 3:13, 3:14, there and thereabouts as he comes up. Going to stop the clock. 3:13.393 for Will Brown, second quickest for now and Douglas Savage goes across 3:18.077. So Will Brown goes to number 2 for now on the leaderboard. We move on now to our penultimate heat. We welcome in the back straight from Victoria. This is Ollie Jirovic, and in the home straight from Queensland, we have Sam Hilditch. So an issue in the home straight for our Queensland rider, Sam Hilditch. Looks like it might be a pulled wheel. But Ollie Jirovic, the Victorian, he gets on with proceedings. He'll be riding to a schedule anyway. He's got Tim Decker, the Olympic champion coach, in the back straight, calling to Ollie Jirovic. And talk about talented coaches on the track centre. It doesn't get any better, does it? Jirovic will be listening to everything that Decker has to say as he heads down the back straight. Big, strong, fast lad, Ollie. Takes no prisoners in the bunch racing, and he's starting a controlled first 1,000 metres here. He heads to the back straight this time. Going to have to ride into the pace here as he comes through. Going through in 1:09, 8th fastest at the moment. So let's see what Jirovic can do. Controlled first kilometre. Very, very fast. Rode very nicely in the points race last night. The chaotic finish in the end. And come through this time. Keep an eye on the scoreboard to see if he's starting to increase his pace. Not quite yet. One or two of these riders might have woken up a little bit tired from the points race. Jirovic around 9th at the moment. Known to be a very, very fast rider. Can he bring home a final 1,000 metres and really lift here? Has he controlled it beautifully? Or are the legs a little bit juicy still from last night's racing? He'll go through. 5 laps to go. Jirovic, the Victorian, looks good on the bike. Doesn't look to be any trouble, but he is off the leaderboard at the moment, the high end of the leaderboard. Goes through 2,000 metres in a 2:14. Just off the pace today for Ollie. He'll head to the back straight this time, receive 3 laps to go. Can he improve on his position? 9th at the moment is what we're seeing. There's the penultimate heat out there. Been unfortunate that he's had to go by himself. There's a bit of a mechanical for our Queensland rider Hilditch on the start line. Jirovic down the back straight. 2 laps to go for him now. He's moved up from 9th to 8th, so he is coming home nicely. See where he can finish off his ride. Just repositioning himself on the saddle as he heads to the back straight this time. Bell sounds for Jirovic. Sitting around about the 3:20 mark at the moment. Trying to lift with everything he's got as he goes through. Got himself up to 7th now on the scoreboard. He goes to the back straight to finish off here. We have a look at the scoreboard, and he just gets himself inside the 3:20 marker. We've seen a number of riders in that range today. 3:19.698 for Ollie Jirovec. We move on now to heat number 10. Welcome in the back straight from Victoria. This is Alistair Forsyth. And in the home straight from South Australia, this is Oliver Ward. Underway nicely in our final heat of our under-19 pursuit qualifying. The fastest time so far is Lockie Walters on 3:13.199. Then we have Will Brown from South Australia, 3:13.393. Then Jack Sloan from South Australia, 3:14.033. And then Ben Lucia, who sits in the hot seat for the duration of this ride so far, he rode 3:14.885. These two out on track, they have to get inside those 3:13 times if they want to ride for the gold medal. There's room to move here. The national record sits around, well, the competition record sits around 3:08. We'll see what these two riders can do. We saw it was quite a even contested points race last night, which goes to show there's no standout time yet, but they've gone through the first 1,000 in the 1:10s. So we'll see how we go here. The fastest first 1,000 metre was Benjamin Lucia from Victoria. He went through in 1:06. Quickest after that, we've been around the 1:08, but more consistently around 1:10. Alistair Forsyth, though, he is really moving. He's going the fastest time out on track at the moment for the Victorian as he heads down the back straight. He's 1, Oliver Ward is 2. Our final heat is showing our seeding to be correct with these two riders. At the moment, they are matching each other pedal stroke for pedal stroke, and they are 1 and 2 out on the track as they'll both see 5 laps to go this time. And Ward has got himself just slightly ahead, so a good contest here. Now the riders will be sitting hoping that they're not as quick over the last 4 laps, but they'll go to 1,000 metres to go, and both riders are moving nicely, both through in 2:07. So we've got two riders who are closer to the 10:11 mark here. Really moving well. Ward leads Forsyth just for the moment. How close to the 10 marker can these two get? Ward just starting to ride away from his opponent. 0.3 of a second now. 2.5 laps to go for both riders. And just as you see Ward ride away, Forsyth rides back towards him ever so slightly. 500 metres of the track to go for these two now. Just 0.2 of a second between them, but they are forcing each other to go faster and faster. Lap and a half to travel. Forsyth is coming back and coming back nicely here. Tim Decker really asking for a bit more from the Victorian in the back straight. South Australia lifting as well. .0, not even .03, a thousandth of a second between the two. This is going to be the fastest rides by the looks of it as they go through. Half a lap to go. Into the 10s, 11s, they come up and stop the clock. 3:10.691 for Alistair Forsyth in the back straight. 3:10.857 for Ollie Ward in the home straight. There's going to be a magnificent final later on this evening. However, I do see we have one rider still to come back up onto the track. So 1 and 2 for now for Alistair Forsyth. 3:10.691. Ollie Ward, 3:10.857. Then we've got Lockie Walters, 3:13.199. Those three are safe to be able to go through into the next rounds. Will Brown sits in fourth, 3:13.393. Standing here from where I commentate from, I can see that it was the young man Hilditch from South Australia is sitting in the waiting area. He had a mechanical by the looks of it, so he may be coming back up onto the track to still set a time here this morning. So we welcome back onto the track Sam Hilditch of Queensland. He'll be out to set his fastest time. So Sam Hilditch, he can breathe a sigh of relief. He's able to ride and gets himself going down the back straight this time. 3:10.691, 3:10.85, then 3:13.199. He wants to ride for a medal. He's got to get himself inside 3:13.393, which is Will Brown from South Australia. A big opportunity here for Sam. He was supposed to go in the penultimate heat. He now goes as the last rider. Fourth quickest for the first 500, so he's going to be there and thereabouts by the looks of it. One or two riders will just be sitting on the edge of their seats watching this ride of Sam Hilditch now, the last man to go. Comes through now, 9 laps to go, fourth quickest at the moment. Nothing to worry about. We'll see these riders, some start a little bit slower, not too much slower, and then they ride into it and sprint home. Hilditch comes into the home straight, first 1,000 metres, moving beautifully. 107.804 here for Hilditch. So he's going at a pace that's going to carry him into that top 4. As long as he keeps on this sort of trajectory. Still goes through. Not being asked for anything more from the coach at the moment. The coach just calling the time to him. He's locked into his position, locked into his pace. He comes to the home straight with 6 laps to go this time. Just dropping off ever so slightly through that part. What can he do? What can he do over this last 5 laps now? Sam Hilditch, young Queenslander, into the home straight again. Still sitting at around 5th place at the moment. This is where the real effort has to come in. Really needs to start to lift. Certainly over that last 3 laps. Got to hold on to it now and try and lift. 1,000 metres to go. 2:10 for Hilditch. Knees just coming out of us slightly. Rocking of the shoulders. Just rocking on the bike a little bit more this time. Comes through with 3 laps to go. He was travelling at 5th before. Still travelling at 5th. Can he do enough? Can he lift over this last part to get himself up into the top 4 spots with 2.5 laps to go for Sam Hilditch? He comes into the home straight. 500 metres left to run here for Hilditch. Still sitting in around 5th position. Not too far away though from that top 4th place. Can he lift? Can he get a little bit more out of himself here? Coming up to get 1 lap to go. Let's get behind the young Queenslander. Can he get himself up into the top 4? Still showing his 5th here. Can he sprint home as we've seen many of the Queenslanders do in these individual pursuits as he heads down the back straight? Still in 5th, looking around, still could possibly get inside that 13-14 pace as he comes in and stops the clock. 3:13.690, just outside of the qualifying, does sit in 5th. 3:13.393 is what he had to get inside of, so great ride from Sam Hilditch, but he's going to qualify just outside. He's going to qualify with a 5th place time from the Queenslander. It's a good comeback after missing out on his start and having to come back a round later. So we stay with the starting gates out on the track, but we change the event and we move on to the qualifying rides now of our men's elite time trial. Over 1,000 metres, so the fast, powerful men of track cycling coming out onto the track now. We welcome heat number 1 in the back straight. Welcome from Victoria, rider number 41. This is Bryce Nichols. And in the home straight, rider number 39 will be Ethan Lesky. Both riders away nicely out of the blocks. National record is 58.526. The championship record, the all-comers record, is held by Thomas Cornish. That's a 58.942 set back here on this track in 2023. The national record was set by none other than Matthew Glaetzer, 58.526 in Glasgow. So with Cornish and Tate Ryan in the field and others, expect to see the minute broken here today in qualifying and certainly in the final later this evening. These two riders moving nicely. Lesky comes through the 750, 49.95, quicker of the two Victorians as he heads down the back straight. See what he can stop the clock at as he comes into the home straight this time. Looking around the 1.5 sort of pace possibly as he comes up now and stops the clock. 105.894. Valesky. Nichols goes through 108.500 to get us underway. Our second heat, just getting themselves ready up onto the track from Victoria in the back straight. We welcome David Koroknay, and in the home straight from Victoria, we welcome Aubrey Price. The next two of our Victorians out of the starting gate. 105 is the fastest time so far. These riders, it's qualifying. They're trying to get themselves up into the top 8 so they can ride again tonight. It's part of the SBS coverage. Really moving nicely. Here is Aubrey Price as he comes into the home straight. Have a look at the first lap. David Koroknay goes through 33.758. 35.5 for Price. Koroknay really moving. Just trying to reposition himself on the saddle as he heads down the back straight. Receiving the bell lap this time. Koroknay goes through 48.527. Moving nicely and hanging it onto it. You can see the pain is starting to get into the legs and the upper body. He's starting to slow up as he goes through the last part of the journey as Price starts to come back to him. Price goes across. Quickest time, 104.685. 104.690 through David Koroknay. So Price finished off a little bit better than his teammate. So ladies and gentlemen, we move on to heat number 3. We welcome in the back straight Zarin Fong Sutton, and in the home straight we welcome from New South Wales Daniel Swambury. Both riders away now. Swambury competed in the Masters last week. Fong Sutton comes into the home straight, out of the saddle, on the more conventional setup, no tri-bars on his bike. I really feel that these riders need to have the tri-bars on for the last lap and a half at least, but he's moving beautifully, the Victorian, in this first part of the journey. Really fast, really powerful. Swanbury in that tuck position and the aero position, moving nicely. Fong Sutton, the quickest so far by some mud. No, gone into second straight away, 33.801. Swanbury, 35 dead virtually. As he goes through now, the Victorian just trying to correct himself in the saddle as he heads to the back straight, this time with 1 lap to go. Swanbury coming back on him ever so slightly. Fong Sutton, though, he's still up into second place. That's still putting him around the 1-4. You can see really starting to dig in this home straight this time. Fong Sutton just started to tie up as he goes into the back straight. He's still moving nicely. Swanbury coming back on him, though, in that aero position. He goes across the line, 105.560 for Fong Sutton. Swanbury's time didn't actually stop the clock, so we'll wait for the official time for Daniel. But Fong Sutton, 105.560 puts him up into third place. We'll wait for a corrected time on Daniel Swanbury. We move on now to our next heat. This is heat number 4. We welcome in the back straight from Victoria. This is Reuben Smith, and in the home straight from New South Wales, we welcome Jackson Williams. Away now, both riders. New South Welshman looked like he tried to possibly come out of the blocks a little bit early there. He's got himself going nicely now, though. Very powerful rider. Once again, one of the Victorians just on the normal handlebars. But Williams, beautiful start. 19.294 for Jackson Williams. Very quick indeed. Heads down the back straight. Just a little bit in front of Reuben Smith at the moment as Williams comes through. See where he is at the halfway point. Quickest so far, 33.3. Reuben Smith, 33.9. So he's moving beautifully as well. Now Williams, can he hold on to this as he comes up to get 1 lap to go? Fastest time so far as he'll heal the bell this time. Still leading with the quickest time, but Reuben Smith is coming back at him here. Reuben Smith, this is a great ride just on the stock standard handlebars. Goes to number 1 of everybody else at the moment, the Victorian. Hanging on to it as he goes down to the back straight. Williams into the home straight, nothing between them. Smith 104.293 goes 1. Williams 104.55 goes to number 2. Great rides. So the top 8 riders will qualify into the final. We've still got 10 riders to go. We've seen 8 so far. The fastest time just then by Reuben Smith, 10.293. We move on to our next heat. We welcome in the back straight from Victoria. This is Caleb Antill. And in the home straight from Western Australia, we welcome Jack Dola. Jack Dola in the home straight. Caleb Antel in the back straight. Both riders away nicely. 1:04.293, quickest so far. A little bit of ways away from being able to call riders qualified at the moment. After this heat, we'll start to look at that. Both riders just trailing at the moment and the times that they need to be looking at. Dola, the quicker of the two, as he comes into the home straight this time. 7th fastest at the moment, 35.3. Antle with a 35.84. A lot of work to do for these two, trying to get themselves up to the top of the leaderboard here. As they come up with 1 lap to go, it's a long way to be made up as Antle starting to go faster than Dola, but both riders off the pace from what we've seen so far. Antle though, finishing quickly, now up into 4th place all of a sudden. Where's he going to stop the clock? 1:04.121. He was 8th, he was 9th, then he was 4th, and now the quickest time for Caleb Antle. What a finish. 1:04.121. Forgive me for laughing, but he improved so much in that last lap. He just did not slow down through that whole ride. Great piece of riding there from Caleb Antle. Jack Dola, 6th quickest for now, 1:05.036. Now next heat, starting to line themselves up in the back straight. Please welcome from the rider from the ACT, this is Alex Schaefer. And in the home straight from Tasmania, we welcome Jonas Shelverton. Nice start from both riders as they get away. Schaefer very nicely out of the blocks, very quickly indeed. So he starts to join us in the home straight and goes through 3rd quickest first part. Shelverton, 11th for now, but expect him to speed up and hang on to the pace nicely. Schaefer 4th, Shelverton 11th, as Schaefer, the ACT rider, joins us in the home straight here, moving nicely. Shelverton right up on his pace now as they go back to their start-finish points at 500 metres. 33.8, 35.5. Alex Schaefer up into 4th place. Can he hold on to this pace and not slow down towards the end, which will make the difference for him? Shelverton coming into the home straight, still moving nicely. Schaefer goes to number 1. He hasn't slowed down yet, and Shelverton's moving himself up the leaderboard. Schaefer goes through, still the fastest time to here. Schaefer into the back straight, going to go number 1 on the leaderboard, and if he does that, he'll qualify for the final. 1:02.918 for Schaefer. Shelverton 4th fastest, 1:04.465, but that'll be enough for Schaefer to secure himself a spot in the final later. So then, with 6 riders still to come, our top 2 riders so far, they've secured themselves a spot in the final. Alex Schaefer, 1:02.918. Caleb Antle, 1:04.121. They'll be able to ride the final later. Everyone else is still going to have to sit there and wait and see as we move on to our next heat. And we welcome in the back straight from the ACT, this is Edward Marks. And in the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Max Liebschnick. Ooh, the starting power by the South Australian here leaves the home straight. Max Liebsnick, former junior champion in the individual ranks of Australia, and team sprint also now in the elites. Have a look at the time here of Liebsnick through the first lap, 17.805. Beautiful start here. Ed Marks goes through 20.458. Now, can Max hang on to it? He's moving beautifully. Standard setup as he comes through. Well, he was just going out there to set that time and get himself categorised. He's gone through the 532.717, but you can see he has sat up, so no more interest for Max as Ed heads towards the back straight to find one more lap to go. Moving nicely, it's got himself up into 5th place. Can he get himself up into the top 4 paces here? Can he get himself up into the top 2? Ed Marks moving nicely up into 2nd place now, hanging on to it nicely as he goes down the back straight and stops the clock. 1:03.528. He's going to take himself into the from the qualifying into the final later today. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our penultimate heat now. In the back straight, we welcome from Victoria, Jade Madden. In the home straight, we welcome the championship record holder from New South Wales. This is Thomas Cornish. Tom Cornish, he's gone to the enduro program in track cycling, but it has not slowed him down at all in sprinting on the road. I don't think it will have slowed him down at all in the 1,000-metre time trial either. 58.942 is the championship record he holds, set back in 2023. Away now in the home straight, Tom Cornish up against Jade Madden for this heat of the 1,000-metre qualifying. Ruben Smith, Caleb Ansell, Ed Marks and Alex Schaefer, they're all going to be riding the final this evening as Cornish comes into the home straight now. Jade Madden's gone out to a beautiful start. Cornish goes through 19.6, Jade Madden went 19.3. Let's see how they can go over the next part of the journey. Remember, this qualifying, it's not the final, so they just need to get themselves up into the 8. Madden in 2, Cornish in 3. They head to a lap and a half to go now. Cornish seems to be underway now, gets himself into the quickest time so far out on track. 1 lap to go for Tom Cornish, gone through in 46.70. Looking around the 1 minute mark at the moment for Tom Cornish as he comes into the home straight. Where is Tom Cornish going to stop this clock for qualifying? Comes down 1 minute .933 for Tom Cornish. 1:03.002 for Jade Madden. Qualifying is getting quick with 1 round to go. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to our final heat of our men's elite time trial qualifying. Welcome in the back straight from Queensland, Rowan Hayden Smith. And in the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Tate Ryan. Ryan away nicely here, followed in the footsteps of Cornish into the junior ranks. Champion of the world, following in the footsteps of also Matthew Glaitzer nicely here, getting himself out very quickly indeed. Tate Ryan into the home straight. We'll have a look to see where he is at the end of the first. 19.34. Rowan Hayden Smith 20.09. Both these riders will know what they're capable of in a 1,000-metre time trial. Qualifying, just got to get themselves up into the final here. Ryan goes to number one though, 32.54. Is this going to be the first sub 1 minute ride here by Tate Ryan in qualifying? He comes into the home straight and gets 1 lap to go. 45.8. Are we going to see the 1 minute go inside qualifying here from Tate Ryan? He heads down the back straight. Ryan, the South Australian, coming into the home straight, looking to go number one. Can he get underneath the minute here this afternoon? 1 minute, 0.472, 101.995 for Hayden Smith. 1 and 3 respectively. We're going to have a great final later this evening on the Anna Meares Velodrome. Ladies and gentlemen, we stay with the starting gates and we move on to event 38, the Women's Elite Individual Pursuit qualifying. 4,000 metres of the track. We welcome onto the track our first heat. In the back straight from South Australia, we welcome Leonie Vandenberg. And in the home straight, also from South Australia, we welcome Madeline Wasserbosch. Both riders moving nicely through this first part of the journey here. Two riders who have come through the junior ranks together up into the elite ranks. South Australian team, the most numbers in the Enduro women's categories. Of course, the national record is held by Maeve Plouffe. Set that back in 2022, 319.994. Championship record also for Maeve Plouffe, and that's it was over 3,000 metres. The 4,000 metre record for those playing at home is still Maeve Plouffe, the national record, 435.633, and the championship record Well, that was set last year in 4:42.029. And Maeve Plouffe here today. Also, we have Alyssa Polides. So we've got the best two that have set the times over this 4,000 metre distance on the track. The old record, when it was over 3,000 metres, well, that was all Maeve Plouffe, 3:19, 9:94 and 3:21, the two times that Maeve did. It's great to have both riders here. Also, we've got Sophie Edwards, Claudia Marks. So it's a good field here for our individual pursuit for the women. Coming up towards their halfway point now. Vandenberg goes through 2:24.732. Wasserbach goes through 2:36. South Australian riders. Great history in the individual pursuing, superb history in teams pursuing as well. So we'll see how they go, see if they can get themselves up into the top four. It's going to be a top group of riders. You've got Edwards, Polides, Plouffe, Marks, Nicole Duncan in this one as well as Riley McMullen in the field. Leonie Vandenberg heads to the back straight again, leads the way, 3:17 so far. Almost 3 seconds clear of her teammate now. Both riders, very nice positions on the bike, nice and aero. Both just removing themselves around in the seat, which just suggests the position a little bit uncomfortable here today. When they start to push themselves back on the saddle, it means they're just starting to lean a bit too far forward into that tuck position. Vandenberg into the back straight at this time. We'll find 3 laps to go. Still leads at Wasserbach by considerable margin now. What can she do over the last 2.5 laps to get the fastest possible time out of herself as she can? Try and get inside the 4:50 mark here. Both riders just starting to really dig over this last part of the journey here. Lap and a half to go now for Vandenberg as she heads towards the back straight to receive bell lap. Vandenberg looking to get herself inside 4:45 if she can. 4:46.7 at the moment, judging by the scoreboard and where it's going to stop her. She hits the line down the back straight, 47.005. Wasserbach will come into the home straight, get herself inside the 55 mark, goes 54.378. They're the first 2 times up on the board. The riders will be having a look at that, getting an idea of how quick the track is. So South Australia 1 and 2 for now. We welcome heat number 2 out onto the track now, ladies and gentlemen, in the back straight from New South Wales. We have Nicole Duncan, and in the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Riley McMullen. Away now in heat number 2, Riley McMullen in the home straight. Nicole Duncan from New South Wales in the back straight. Nicole finished with the silver medal in the individual time trial yesterday, so she's had a good start to her week. First time seeing Riley as she gets herself going nicely. Nice pursuit precision from Riley. And Nicole Duncan moving quite nicely here in this first part of the journey. So 4:47.005, the quickest times so far. Remember, we've got a very good top 4 who are going to come out on the track here today as well, with Plouffe, Marks, Pilates, Edwards. Very good field indeed. Australian World Cup riders competed very well at the Perth World Cup recently. Riders also competing very well at the Oceania Championships in New Zealand recently as well. So should see some great racing from our elite women's field here over the next week of racing. But for today, our attention on the individual pursuit. 2 riders out on track at the moment, quickest so far in 1 and 2. Both riders going through the first 1,000 metres around the 1:14 pace. So sticking to their schedules, listening to the coaches, and seeing what they can do through this middle part and then on to the end of the journey. Riley McMullen into the home straight, the South Australian. She leads the way in front of Nicole Duncan for now. Just over a second, 1.3 seconds the difference between the two. And both riders looking very smooth indeed. Don't look in any trouble whatsoever. It's always very deceiving when you're standing up here in a nice cool air-conditioned room through the glass watching the riders go around. They make it look so easy. When you're down at ground level, you can really see the effort that they are putting in. McMullen moving nicely, she comes into the home straight this time, out to about a 20-metre lead over the top of the New South Wales rider. McMullen will see 7 laps to go this time. Duncan, however, just starting to peg back a little bit of distance here inside. It's now back to 1 second. So she's just starting to lift her pace. She's either lifting her pace or Riley McMullen's slowing down, but I don't think Riley's slowing down. I think Nicole Duncan's just starting to bring a little bit more out of herself here inside the second now. Down to 0.7 of a second, Nicole Duncan. Trying to bring herself back into the top spot between these two for qualifying. So a good contest between McMullen and Duncan. You've got to get in the top 4 if you want to ride for the medal, so you don't want to be losing your heat as you go through. Just 0.1 of a second between these two, there and thereabouts. As they go through now, 4.5 laps to go. McMullen still leading. They'll go back to their start-finish points with 1,000 metres to go this time. And Duncan has put herself right there. 3:33.76 to 3:34. So Duncan going into the lead of these two riders. She goes through our scoreboard, just playing games with us again today. But it's Duncan who shows the way. Got herself out to about a 10-metre lead now over the top of Riley McMullen, the New South Wales rider. Moving nicely, and she goes through. The scoreboard not giving stop times just at the moment. They'll get 500 metres of the track to go. Duncan leads down the back straight out to about a 15-metre lead this time over the top of Riley McMullen. Duncan into the home straight, lap and a half to go for her, going out to a 20-metre lead by the looks. So Duncan finishing this ride off nicely. She's going to come up and get 1 lap to go, and they're both inside the times of the first 2 South Australians who came out on track. So Nicole Duncan going to put herself in the top of the leaderboard and into the hot seat for this first round of racing by the looks of things as she heads down the back straight this time. Nicole Duncan comes up to the line, stops the clock, 4:44.87, and Riley McMullen 4:47.235. So number 1 for Duncan. McMullen goes to number 3. Vanderberg survives up into second spot for now. So we move on to our penultimate heat now. We welcome in the back straight. The rider from the ACT is Claudia Marks. And in the home straight from South Australia, we welcome Maeve Plouffe. Both riders away nicely here, and of course Claudia Marks last night defended her 1,000 metre time trial championship, taking that championship another time. Both riders on the Olympic paint job factor bikes, beautiful pieces of machinery. Both riders have just come off the World Cup in Perth. It was a fantastic event. So Marks, you'd expect her to be the fastest starter from the two, just naturally through a 1,000 metre time trialling riding. But Maeve Plouffe, she has been the strong individual pursuiter with the Australian ranks for a few years now. There's a huge amount of road work, Maeve Plouffe. We'll see how she goes through the 4,000 metres here this afternoon. Can these two riders get themselves up into the top two spots? So these are the two riders that we're going to see in the final. We still have Alyssa Polides and Sophie Edwards to come after these two as they go through. Now they're going to come up to 1,000 metres covered, 112 and 113. Give you an idea, Claudia Marks rides around the 1.6, 1.7 mark for the 1,000 metres when she's absolutely flat out. So 5 seconds off that pace in the start of an individual pursuit. She'll be well controlled to get through the next 3,000 metres. Maeve Plouffe, perfect style on the bike in that individual pursuit position of hers. She heads down the back straight. Both riders sticking to the schedule nicely here. Plouffe comes into the home straight. Marks in the back straight, just slightly ahead by 0.3 of a second. Hard to call this one as far as who has the form out of these two riders. Maeve Plouffe rode very well in all of the racing that she went to in the World Cup. Claudia Marks, we saw her in the teens pursuit. And she was very strong in that, no doubt about it. Halfway mark and nothing between them. Now Maeve Plouffe is just moving herself into the front position here. They'll come up with 2,000 metres to go and just ahead by 0.2 of a second for Maeve Plouffe. Let's see what they can do over this last part of the journey. They went through in 2:24. So both riders at the moment travelling nicely inside the time of Nicole Duncan. How will we see them over the last part of the journey here today with Alyssa Polides and Sophie Edwards still to come in the next heat? Plouffe leads the way between these two. She's going to come up and get 6 laps to go this time. She's about 5 to 10 metres clear of Claudia Marks. Remembering though, Claudia Marks very, very fast over the 1,000 metres from a standing start. She may have that sprint home that we've seen for a number of riders in the junior men's ranks here today. Really lift over that last 2.5 laps. We saw that Nicole Duncan was able to finish off nicely like that. 4.5 laps to go. Claudia Marks not going anywhere. Maeve Plouffe hasn't been able to ride away from her in this qualifying. 1,000 metres to go this time. Just under a second between the two. 3:27 as they went through that time. So looking for the mid 35s or short 35s, these two are the way they're going. Plouffe will come around this time. 3 laps to go. Is she lifting? Is Claudia Marks coming back to her? Not a lot of change, but possibly Marks is coming back to Maeve Plouffe here in qualifying. They'll go through. Claudia Marks certainly lifting up against Maeve Plouffe here. They're going to come through with 2 laps to go, and the rider from the ACT trying to get herself closer. Nothing between them now, but it's still Maeve Plouffe by 0.1 of a second, but Claudia Marks is lifting over this last part, and they go through this time. Marks slightly in front. 0.03 of a second between them, nothing at all. Claudia Marks with the faster finish here. They go through, nothing between them. Maeve Plouffe needs to lift, wants to get herself top of the leaderboard at least, but Claudia Marks is really sprinting home here and has got herself in front of Maeve Plouffe. Claudia Marks, the kilometre champion, heads to the back straight. She's going to get the better of Maeve Plouffe in this one. 4:36.943 for Claudia Marks, 4:38.222 for the ride of Maeve Plouffe. So just outside the national record of Maeve Plouffe, which is 4:35, but a new championship record for Claudia Marks. The previous championship record, 4:42. Claudia Marks goes through now, 4:36.943 for a championship record. Maeve Plouffe's national record safe for now, but great riding there from both riders. The quality is out on track here this afternoon. Move on to our final heat now. We welcome in the back straight, representing Victoria. This is Alyssa Polides. And in the home straight, representing South Australia, we welcome Sophie Edwards. Away now for their final heat in the Women's Elite Pursuit qualifying. We've just seen the great ride from Claudia Marks and Maeve Plouffe. Just waiting for an update on our score sheet here. 4:36 is what I had Claudia Marks set up for. The championship record is 4:42 previous to that, set by the rider out on track right now, which is Alyssa Polides. She rode 4:42 here last year in the championship. Maeve Plouffe has the quicker time, 4:35.633, the national record that Maeve has set on this track. Nothing between the two at the moment. Sophie Edwards and Alyssa Polides sitting around 2 and 3 at the moment. So they're around the right time at the moment. Updated times. I can tell you that Claudia Marks rode 4:36.943. Maeve Plouffe rode 4:38.229. These two sitting as second and third on the track as far as the time goes. Sophie Edwards has got herself into the quicker spot just for now. So both these riders moving nicely. Sophie Edwards very quick just for the moment as she comes into the home straight this time back to her starting point. She'll see 10 laps to go. Sophie Edwards moving nicely. Both riders once again on these magnificent paint jobs on these factor bikes that they use. And of course we saw two gold ones last night in the men's event in Connor Lay and Oliver Bledden, and their gold bikes, and by virtue of being Olympic champions, they flashed around the track quicker than anybody. Connor Lay, fastest we've ever seen by an Australian. Sophie Edwards is moving beautifully here. She comes into the home straight. National record is being threatened right now by Sophie Edwards as she goes through. Melissa Pilates has got some work to do over this last 6.5 laps here. She's still moving beautifully, Pilates. Sophie Edwards, though, really locked in, moving nicely as she comes through. 1,500 metres to go. It's just over a second difference between the two as they come through this time. Fastest time and fourth fastest time out on track. Edwards goes through 0.95. It's 2 seconds difference, 2.2 seconds difference between these two. So Melissa Pilates has got some work to do over the final 1,000 metres when she gets to the back straight. Edwards comes through. We're looking at a national record being set here at the moment. This is a good piece of riding here from Sophie Edwards. Is she going to really drill this final 1,000 metres and make sure she gets that national record before going on to the final this evening? Or is she going to just save the legs a little bit, because the way she's going at the moment, the national record is going to go here to Sophie Edwards. National record 4:35.633, held by her teammate Maeve Plouffe. She's going to come round at this time, Sophie Edwards, with 2 laps to go. Fastest time out on track at the moment, still moving beautifully. Can she get inside the time of Maeve Plouffe's national record? She's the fastest out on track. The fastest so far is 4:36.943 for Claudia Marks for qualifying. Sophie Edwards is inside that, and she's trying to get inside the time of 4:35.633, which is the national record. She heads down the back straight, Sophie Edwards. Can she break the national record here? She's got to get inside 35.63. She comes up to the line. She's going to do it. 4:32.651 for Sophie Edwards. She has smashed the national record in qualifying. Elisa Pilates goes across in 4:40.295 to qualify fourth, so she'll ride for a medal here this evening. But what a ride by Sophie Edwards, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together. 4:32.651, new national record. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the first of our finals here today, our gold medal final, and we welcome Kyle Willis, who will be competing in the men's Para C3 competition. This is for the gold medal ride. Kyle Willis, our rider out on track in the Para C3 category. For the pleasure of watching Kyle and a number of our para athletes develop over the last 5 years. I first saw Kyle race just on a standard bike, club skin suit, and was getting himself up onto the podium and so forth, but he's improved and gone better every single year. And now have a look at him. Double discs in, bike absolutely flying around the track. Got all the experience under his belt now. Trying to make sure he gets himself up into Australian representation once more. Through the first 1,000 metres, clock doesn't stop, but around the 112, 113 mark, so moving very nicely here, Kyle. Through the halfway mark this time, through 1,500 metres for Kyle Willis as he heads down the back straight. Moving nicely. No rocking of the shoulders or the upper body. He's rock solid on the bike in the para qualifications. Four and a half laps to go now for Kyle as he comes into the home straight to get four to go. 1,000 metres, just correcting himself in the saddle a little bit. See a lot of riders doing that this week, just pushing themselves back in the saddle. Everyone's so focused on being as aero as they possibly can. You get the impression that one or two riders are just dipping down into their position a little bit too far, so they keep pushing themselves back in the saddle just to try and be that little bit more comfortable. And head down the back straight. 2.5 to go for Kyle. Moving nicely though. Tempo of the pace being set. Very nice indeed. 2 to go this time for the Queenslander. The bell will sound this time for Kyle as he goes through, riding himself to another national champions jersey here in the Para C3 category. Finishing off very nicely indeed as he heads down the back straight, comes through the bend and into the home straight. Once again, we see a good ride from Kyle Willis as he goes across the line. So we move on now to event 40. This is the men's para C4 Pursuit Gold. Right off, we have Corey Boddington. We don't have our MC5 rider out on track. So Corey Boddington from Queensland, our rider lining up in the home straight to ride for his gold medal. Corey Boddington underway so fast, this rider, in the time trials, in the sprints, and now out there in the pursuit as well. Boddington comes up now through his first 1,000 metres, going nicely. 1:10.339 for Corey Boddington. Pedalling beautifully down the back straight as he comes through the bend now. Joins us again in the home straight, Corey Boddington. So Scott McGorry greeted him in the track centre a couple of days ago, and Scott McGorry put his hand out and said, "How you going, legend?" And no truer statement made about the way Corey Boddington conducts himself and races. Multiple time champion on the international stage, and of course national champion more times than you can count. Very popular rider here on the Meares Velodrome in the Queensland cycling scene. A true representation, a great representative of the Australian cycling team on the world stage as he goes through 5 laps to go. Thousand metres left to run for Boddington as he comes through. We'll see where he is with the 2,000 time. 2:17.154. He's gone through in a rolling 1:07 there. This is a nice piece of work here being done by Corey. Just been asked for a little bit more by the coach on the track centre. Just wants him to just get a little bit more out of himself, set the fastest time he possibly can as he goes on to another national champion's jersey here. We come through this time with 2 laps to go, just 500 metres of the track left to run for Corey as he goes through. He's repositioning himself in the saddle once again. We see a lot of this going on. And come into the home straight this time to receive a bell lap. Corey Boddington from Queensland, a beautiful Argon 18 Australian team bike. It's a little bit ragged on the line there. The effort starting to show here with Boddington as he heads down the back straight. The effort starting to show, the pace not dropping off as he'll come to the home straight this time to set a very nice time indeed of 3:26.390 for Corey Boddington. We now welcome our men's C5 category, and this is Nick Niels from the ACT. Nick away nicely, up on to speed. Pete's in the C5 division saw him racing yesterday. He's got himself a national jersey in the sprint so far. He got second outright in the sprint competition to Corey Boddington when they all went onto the track together. But different categories, different categorisations for these riders, and Nick is the national champion in the C5 category as he heads down the back straight, moving nicely. And come through the first 1,000 metres here. 1:24.06 for Nick Neils. As he heads down the back straight, moving nicely, nice position on the bike. He's a tall rider, and he just lays across the top of the bike very nicely in a good pursuit position here. As he comes into the home straight. Just been asked for a little bit more, just a tad more from the coach. Always like to watch what the coaches are doing. Quite relaxed though, as they head down the back straight. Nick moving nicely. We'll come into the home straight this time and see 9 laps to go. Don't forget, folks, we will have our medal presentations, our championship presentations of our para athletes at the end of this session. And there'll be a break. We'll be back with more racing this evening. A number of championships to be decided this evening. And of course, if you're joining us on the AusCycling YouTube channel, we'll be here every day, every morning, or every afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. And then our evening sessions will be on SBS, and you'll be able to listen to Kate Bates and Scott McGorry bring you all of the action for our evening sessions. It was great camera work being done by our camera crews here. And of course, volunteers of our mums and dads, of our supporting the riders who have been racing for many, many years. And this year, our same camera crew, well, they've been brought in by the SBS telecast, which is fantastic. We're using the experts this year in our telecast. 2,500 metres done for Nick Neils. Big weekend of racing to come for our Brisbane Cycling Festival this weekend here on the Velodrome. Of course, last year, if you remember, on our Saturday and Sunday nights, we had the light show, rider interviews on the track centre, so plenty to look forward to. If you're living in the Brisbane area, don't stay home. Come out to the track, get involved in the atmosphere. We had a great crowd in last year for our evening sessions when more of our bunch racing was taking place. The sprints, the Kierans, so much to look forward to. 3,000 metres done, 4:06 for Nick as he's inside now. The final 1,000 metres of his ride. Hasn't really slowed down. He's still moving very nicely as he comes into the home straight. Really being asked for a lot more now from the coach. The coach wants him to lift the pace, get as much as he possibly can out of himself here. .500 metres to go for Nick. Goes underneath the scoreboard, heading down the back straight nicely now. Big shout out to everyone who's sending us some very nice messages about the coverage today. I know there's a number of bike shops around Australia who have got the AusCycling YouTube channel playing in the shops. Nice to see that it's getting out to everybody we possibly can. And thank you for the kind messages that we've received for the camera work, a little bit for the talking. As he comes through now, Nick Neils going to finish off. It's bike time for Nick Neils as he goes across the line. 5:28.755 is the time he finishes off with. The next rider up onto the track in the Women Para C4 Pursuit Gold ride-off. This is Tara Nayland from Victoria. Nicely out of the starting gate here for Tara. Nice smooth start. She heads towards the back straight. 4,000 metres is the journey for Tara as she gets underway. Through the first 1,000 metres, 118.458 for Tara in this C4 division. Fastest time we have in the C4 division is 5:16.718. We'll see where Tara can go as far as that record goes. It's moving very nicely indeed as she goes through. Heads down the back straight this time. Going to be interesting to see where she is at the halfway point. Fastest recorder we've got from our Australian riders in the C4 division is 5:16.718. She's gone through 2,000 metres in 2 minutes 30.305 here, Tara. So she is on for the quickest over 4,000 metres that we've seen in this category. Nayland comes through, 6 laps to go. Moving very nicely indeed, the Victorian. Very smooth on the bike as she heads down the back straight. Double Ghibli discs in, fantastic piece of equipment that she's riding. Come to the home straight this time. Nayland comes up now with just 1,000 metres to go. Goes through 3:42. This time well inside the time we have recorded for the C4 division over 4,000 metres. The time is 5:16.718. Tara Nayland looking to set the fastest time ever done over 4,000 metres for this division. Moving beautifully as she heads down the back straight now. Our paracyclist producing some fantastic rides here on the Meares Velodrome. 2026 National Track Cycling Championship. She'll have 500 metres to go as she goes through this time. looking to set the fastest time by an Australian over this distance in this category, and she's looking to do it by some margin as well. Tara Nayland comes through in the home straight with 1 lap to go. The fastest time set is 5:16 over this distance. She is well inside that as she heads down the back straight. Ladies and gentlemen in the grandstand, please start to put your hands together for this ride of Tara Nayland. This is going to be a national championship for her, and she's going to go some monstrous time inside the time. 4:55.296 for Tara Nayland. The previous best 5:16. Tara Nayland, fastest time over the distance for the category in the C4. Ladies and gentlemen, we move on now to a men's para AWII Pursuit Bronze final in the back straight. We welcome Ollie Hutchinson from Queensland, and in the home straight we welcome Perry Judd. Both riders out nicely here. This was the ride-off for the bronze medal in the AWII division, but Perry Judd is categorised in the MXP, so he's already taken a national championship here today. So Ollie Hutchinson on for a bronze here, taking on Perry in this ride. Both riders, similar equipment here, standard bike, just dropped handlebars as they go through. Both moving very nicely indeed. Tough afternoon of racing, 2 4,000 metre individual pursuits. Very warm down there in the track centre as well. You heard me talk about it before, the warming up, the warming down, trying to keep hydrated, trying to make sure each time you come out on the bike you're as good, if not better, than the time before. And Ollie moving very nicely in this one. He really struggled in the last sort of part of the journey for the first qualifier, but he's moving nicely here against Perry. Head down the back straight. Nothing between the two of them though. Perry sees 12 laps to go. Ollie Hutchinson. And he's finding a little bit more over this first part of the journey. So a fast start here for Ollie. Perry Judd, who's the faster of the two in qualifying. He's just starting to get himself back on terms with Ollie. Still trailing ever so slightly. There's still a bit of distance to go. 10.5 laps for both riders as they're moving nicely though. Neither man moving the upper body too much. No rocking of the shoulders, which means they're within themselves, so to speak, as far as the effort being made. Still got more to offer. Perry just going into the lead now between the two. Just about half a second difference. Hutchinson goes out of the home straight. This time they're halfway, so Perry Judd into the home straight this time. 2:54 the time so far, leads Ollie Hutchinson by 1.8 seconds to this point. Bronze medal on the line for Ollie, doing nicely. Perry Judd riding himself into another national champions jersey. The reason for that, different categorisations in our para athletes. And our para programs working very well. If you follow the para athletes at the World Championships throughout the year, so many world titles come back to the shores of Australia. It's always good to see the way they're riding at an international level. Perry Judd now just starting to ride away a little bit further on Ollie. He comes into the home straight this time, Ollie. Still going nicely. But Perry Judd has his measure in this competition. Head down the back straight again. Perry Judd will come into the home straight and see 1,000 metres to go. Ollie Hutchinson now, he gets his 4 laps to go. Two to go now. Perry Judd as he goes through. Ollie Hutchinson's going to see 2 to go. And he's holding Perry off, which is nice to see. Bell lap this time for Perry Judd as he goes through. Hasn't been able to catch Ollie Hutchinson. Ollie Hutchinson putting up a braver ride. Brave ride this time. Everything to race for. Trying to get the best time they possibly can. Perry Judd lifting the pace in this last part of the journey, as is Hutchinson. But Perry Judd's going to come across the line and take out this ride. It'll be another national championship jersey for him this afternoon. Ollie Hutchinson's going to go across the line in the back straight. He'll end up with a bronze medal for his troubles. We move on to our final now of our men's para AWII Pursuit Gold final. In the back straight, we welcome from Victoria, this is Harry Metzger, and in the home straight from Queensland, we welcome Keely Kitkovics. Both riders away nicely here. Kitkovics, the faster qualifier, out somewhat quicker. He gets into the pace very fast indeed, looking to go and catch his man as early as he possibly can here. And Kitkovics moving very well indeed down the back straight. There is quite a bit of difference in time between the two, but good to see that we've got a gold medal right off between our riders in the para classifications here today. And look at the pace of Kitkovic. He's going to take the gold medal as he goes around the outside. The whistle sounds and race over straight away. Not going to ride for time here. They've already got a time on the board for the day. So that competition is done and dusted. Well done to Keely Kitkovic, gold medalist. Harry Metzger, silver medal in the National Championship. So we move on to our women's Para B Pursuit Gold Final. First team we welcome up on to the track is the team of Madeline McNeil and her pilot Sarah Daly. The team of McNeil and Daly. Daly the pilot as they go round. Two teams in this Pursuit Gold Final, but they ride separately on the track, so they're riding as a time trial. Fastest time we've seen over this new distance of 4,000 metres is that set by Jodie Willis-Roberts and her pilot Jodie Haywood. That's 5:39.683. That was done this time last year in the National Championships, so expect that time to come down here today, because Jodie Willis-Roberts, she will be riding next with a new pilot in Greer Novak. There's Team McNeil going through the track now nicely, the team out of South Australia. Halfway mark now as they go through. 2:27.844. Nice pace, much faster than the fastest time we've seen in the past 12 months over this distance. And this is good to see for our para team development. We're coming to the home straight this time. Tandem racing, one of the concrete bases of paracycling. So ever since it started, paracycling, the tandem racing was the first one off many years ago. Really driven hard by the likes of Ron Anderson and Ken Norris back in the day. First riders to really take the tandem racing through Australia and then competing around the world. Going back some decades though, so there's been a lot of work put in through our para programs over the years. We'll come up with 1,000 metres to go this time. The team of Madeline McNeil will go through 3:40.591. Moving nicely, trying to get themselves inside the 4:55 zone here at the moment. They're moving nicely to do that. 3 laps to go for the team from South Australia. Great aero position from both riders as they go through. Good concentration, hard work being the pilot. A lot of pressure on. Coming through this time to receive 2 laps to go. 500 metres the track to cover. They'll go through and to get themselves sitting inside the sort of 4:55 time at the moment. Moving nicely, trying to pick up the pace again as they go down the back straight. They'll come to the home straight this time with 1 lap to go. Go through 4:36. Can they get themselves in that side, that 4:55 time here? It's all about milestones and pinch points when they're trying to set better times. They'll come into the home straight this time, looking to set the fastest time we've seen by a tandem in this division ever. 4:54.580, the fastest we've seen by an Australian tandem over 4,000 metres in the women's category. We welcome our next team up onto the track, and this is the team of Jodie Willis-Roberts, and her pilot is Greer Novak. Underway now, the team of Jodie Willis-Roberts and Greer Novak. Jodie Willis-Roberts, national champion from last year. That's when they set the 5:39, the first team to go over 4,000 metres. That time has been lowered here by the team of Madeline McNeil and Sarah Daly for 54.580. moving nicely as they come into the home straight this time. The team of Jody Willis-Roberts and Greer Novak. Jody Willis-Roberts, different partner on the front of the bike this year. Gone through 1:29 for the first 1,000 metres. The disc wheel in and the front tri-spoke there. Didn't have that sort of equipment last year when she was here. See how they can go. Can they get better than the time they set last year on the Duratec bike? Very famous brand, the Duratec, with the tandem racing. It's been the go-to brand for many decades in tandem cycling, made out of aluminium. Coming to the home straight this time with 10 laps to go. Halfway point now for Jody Willis-Roberts and her partner Greer Novak. They go through in 2:49. So a little bit off the pace of last year's time, off the pace of our first team out there, but always different, always a little bit difficult with new combinations. Still moving nicely around the track as they go. Six laps to go this time. The team of Jody Willis-Roberts. 3:31 through the 2,500 metre mark. Don't forget, folks, we'll be moving on to our presentations of our para champions straight after the end of racing for this session. And tonight's session, if you're here in Queensland, starts at 6 p.m. So not too much of a break between the sessions here today. So for those of you joining us around Australia or other parts of the world, we're about 2 hours away from the evening session starting. And that will be streamed on SBS with Olympic champion Scott McGorry calling the action, along with former world champion Kate Bates. So we've got the talent on the commentary, we've got the talent on the track, everything to look forward to. We saw some great racing last night. Going to see some times being set here this evening. Team sprints on the program as well with our junior men and elite women tonight. I haven't seen them in qualifying today, but we're going to see them on the track this evening. Really looking forward to seeing who can take home the Australian jerseys and also the gold medals. And at the championship, it's all about the jersey, isn't it? Being able to wear that for the next 12 months or hang it on the wall and then another one to wear. Coming to the home straight, 500 metres to go for Jody Willis-Roberts and Greer Novak. Moving nicely and getting through. Team kit looks magnificent. The equipment is good as they head down the back straight. Of course, you'll see Jody Willis-Roberts, she's got the Australian bands on her shirt, signifying she is a former Australian champion. She's been current up until this point. She comes up to get 1 lap to go now. Go through in 5:20. So very similar to what they did, what Jody Willis-Roberts' team did last year. With the new partner, different setup. They'll come into the home straight this time to finish off. This will be a silver medal for them as they cross the line in 5:41.345. Ladies and gentlemen, we turn our attention now to our presentation podium. And we welcome the first of our para-national champions in the C3 category, representing Queensland, Kyle Willis. We now welcome our national champion in the Para C4 men's division, individual pursuit. Please welcome our national champion representing the ACT, Nick Niels. We now welcome our national champion in the women's Para C4 category, representing Victoria, Tara Nayland. We now welcome our podium in the men's Para AWII pursuit. In third place, representing Queensland, Ollie Hutchinson. In second place, representing Victoria, Harry Metzger. In first place, winner of the gold medal and national champion, representing Queensland, Keely Ketkovics. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome now our men's para national champion in the MXP categorisation, Perry Judd. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation now for our women's Parabi tandem pursuit finals. And in second place, winners of the silver medal, Please welcome Jody Willis-Roberts and Greer Novak, representing Queensland. In first place, winner of the gold medal and national champions, representing South Australia, Madeline McNeil and her pilot, Sarah Daly. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this presentation. It also concludes today's session. Racing will be underway at 6 p.m. for this evening. I hope you can join us then. For everyone joining us on the AusCycling YouTube channel, we'll be back with you tonight on SBS tomorrow morning from 9 a.m.